Hello YouTube and welcome to Bub's World. This is your host Bub, and today we're going to get into some Alex Ross art. We have a complete collection of the Alex Ross Universal Monster Steelbooks, so let's make me small and get right to the haul. Yo! First off, got to show off these awesome Wolfman and Creature from the Black Lagoon here. Gotta love that. Alright, so let's get to the show. First off, from 1931, we have Dracula. Now, all these were, I believe, Best Buy exclusives. And these are the Blu-ray Steelbook collection by Alex Ross. You see that? There's Dracula doing his worst. I like this. This is pretty much a scene that happens in the movie. Mostly. Most of these are derived from actual movie scenes. So there's the bat. And then the back just kind of has some plain Dracula logo there. When you open it up, it has some great images. We'll take this out so you can see all the images. Bela Lugosi. Good stuff. And I have to say, as far as horror goes, this is obviously the least graphic, 1931, right? So it's obviously the least graphic, but it's also got some of the most tense horror action because it's so paced. It's just perfectly paced and plotted. A really, really great movie. Also from 1931, you've got Frankenstein. Look at that. Of course, that is not Dr. Frankenstein, but Frankenstein's monster. You see the classic windmill burning in the background. I mean, this is all taken right out of the movie. Love that guy's hat. Everyone with their stakes and torches. Fantastic stuff. It's got the plain dress on the back. Much plainer disc. Look at that. Take that out. And you can see Dr. Frankenstein working his magic. And there's Boris Karloff as Frankenstein, who would reprise his role several times. There you go. Next up, we have from 1932, The Mummy. This might be one of my favorite covers because The Mummy is really striking there. And this really is a scene right out of the movie. Like, it's almost exact. And that guy freaks out and basically has a mental breakdown. He's got the scrolls there. This is a good one. This one might be, it's either my favorite or my third favorite. I don't know. There's the back there. Standard dress. There's the disc. And here is the interior photos. More Boris Karloff work. Fantastic. So good. And I have to say that the lady who's in this movie, I mean, I find this one to be very risque. I mean, that lady is draped around basically half naked the whole movie with just like a chiffon top, and it's just not even, like, they didn't even care. They just basically showed her as much as they could. Here is The Invisible Man from 1933, so we're creeping along, and then you're going to see it jump. So a lot of duds in between that they didn't bother to recreate or commemorate. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? Another really good one. And another interesting that this is actually a scene in the movie. Now, the special effects, I mean, for 1933, you got to give it up to them on The Invisible Man. Now, the movie itself is a little bit campy. So if you're not ready for a little bit of more humor in it, or at least attempted humor, because now, of course, the jokes from 1933 don't translate so great. There's the Invisible Man disc. Here's the interior. So it's a lot more campy than I remember. It's a great movie, but it's a little bit like tries to be too much of a joke and there's too many running gags in the movie, especially from this lady whom I can't stand. She makes an appearance in a couple of the movies as basically the town stupid lady who screams at everything. So they like to put her in there. All right, so let's set some of these over so we can fit the rest. We'll put them over here. All right. And then next up, we have from 1935, The Bride of Frankenstein. So we had 31, 32, 33, skips 34, and we get to 35. Now, Universal was still putting out other horror and monster movies, but these are the ones that took hold as the classics. Also, a lot of the other ones are kind of derived from these original stories in that they just kind of make, son of Frankenstein, cousin's brother of Frankenstein, guy who owes money to Frankenstein, that kind of stuff. The funny thing about Bride of Frankenstein, she's barely in the movie. Like, she shows up at the last few minutes. I mean, most of the movie is just about Frankenstein again. Very little about the bride. Very little. And there's Bride of Frankenstein. You see there. Very cool. Disc. And here is your interiors. Look at that. That's fantastic. And Alex Ross just killing these covers, man. I mean, this is what we pay for. All right. Maybe, I don't know. They're all so good. It's hard to pick my favorite. In fact, if I had a least favorite, it'd probably be Bride of Frankenstein. But look at this Wolfman cover. Oh, yeah. That is awesome. He's got the classic cane. You got the townspeople attacking. Got the full moon up there. And then you have the victim. Oh, man, is that good. Another scene pretty much derived from the movie. I think I have that hat. Great stuff. Just absolutely fantastic. Of course, the Wolfman simple logo. Great stuff. All right, let's take a look. Cool disc. And there's some scenes from the movie. Some great Wolfman scenes. This is my favorite monster movie of them all. Is the Wolfman, and my favorite Universal character, and my favorite horror character. And I like pretty much all things Wolfman related. Some of the movies that aren't really about the Wolfman, they're more just about general werewolves and stuff. But generally, if there's ever a battle between werewolves and vampires, let's say, I'm always rooting for the werewolves. I don't care who they tell me to root for. I always root for the werewolves. Here is the creature from the Black Lagoon. So that Wolfman, that goes all the way to 41. So this jumps from like 1935 to like 1941. Big difference. And you can see the production quality changes a little bit too. Like it alters a little bit as you go. But nothing's as big a leap as when you get to here with the creature from the Black Lagoon. It jumps to the 50s. So Creature from the Black Lagoon is from 54. It's like, holy cow. Like, it's a totally, this one looks like the Beatles might show up at any time and start playing music. I mean, it's really quite different of a style and a totally different era and time period. It just looks completely different. It looks more 60s even than 50s. And so, but there is the creature. Maybe some of Alex Ross's best work. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? All the fish and the... So good. He's reaching for the girl. And this one's kind of very... People like to say it's kind of erotic and stuff. Like there's some swimming. There's this undertone to the whole thing. Look at that. Very cool. There's this undertone to the whole thing that kind of makes you feel like the creature is in love. And maybe the woman isn't really in love, but she's an unwitting love interest of the creature. And they really drive that point home a couple of times in the movie, that he's something of a tragic monster. Of course, they all have some tragedy to them, but But this one, they really try and make it kind of a love tragedy, and the other ones are just kind of circumstantial tragedies. But this one is like just a love tragedy, where he's a monster who fell in love with a human. So very, very interesting stuff. So there you go. Wolfman keeps dropping his steak. He must not be hungry. All right, so there you go. There is the Universal set. We'll go backwards. There is Creature from the Black Lagoon. That's never going to stand. Creature from the Black Lagoon. The Wolfman. Bride of Frankenstein. And we have The Invisible Man. I love, and the special effects in that, just crazy how much they were able to do for that time period. We have The Mummy. Maybe my favorite cover of them all, just because it's so striking. Not my favorite movie of them all, for sure. Frankenstein. And the one that started it all, Dracula. Awesome stuff. Thanks, Alex Ross, for doing this set. Just great stuff. And the movies are really good. I highly recommend it. You know, now that things are going towards, 4K and all this, super high definition, Ultra HD and all this other stuff. If you've got a good up-converting Blu-ray player, most of these, especially these older movies that are not, the remastering on these are amazing. They look so clean. If the only time you've ever seen these movies are in the like on TV, where they just kept replaying the same reel over and over again. If the only way you've ever seen these movies are on TV, especially when you were a kid or something, oh my gosh, these look just amazing. You owe it to yourself to pick up a remastered copy of these and watch them. If you liked them when they were all grainy and rough looking, and you can say that's part of the charm, they retain all the charm of classic cinema in clear picture form. I highly recommend picking these up. They're absolutely fantastic, and and they have bonus features, all kinds of great stuff on every disc that have interviews and tell you about the history and development of the character, what was going on at the studio, all kinds of great stuff. I totally recommend it. Fantastic set. If you get a chance, pick one up. Of course, you have to buy them individually. It took me months and months to collect all these. In fact, I was trying to get them ready for last year Halloween, and I was still missing 2 of them or so. And I said, I guess I'll do it for next year. So here we are. So it took me all that time to collect all 7 of them. And there's some poster arts. I'll probably use one for the thumbnail, but there's some poster arts where they kind of mash them all together. So if you get a chance to find these and pick them up, I highly recommend you doing so now that I've got mine. All right. We'll catch you next time on Bub's World. Remember to watch a movie. Yeah. Just collect a steelbook. These are so cool, man. To me, these are the collectibles. The movie insides are a bonus. And don't apologize for the black and white. Bye-bye.